Okay, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to present our ambitions for 2026. I'll also turn in the second part of my presentation to our ambitions overall and try to explain the concept of what we are doing in the PAC division of the EGS. But I want to get started a little bit more casually by telling you what to expect in 2026, and I'll try to offer just a very quick description of our offerings. These offerings are going to take place in 2 sessions this year. We had originally planned 3. Some of you may have noted this, but we had to put off the first one. That was to be in Bergamo, Italy, and the reason for that is that our accreditation body, the MFHEA, would not okay this change of venue, at least not immediately. They said, do it later. So we will do that next year, we believe. That's the only time we really can fit into this beautiful academia where we meet. We'll do it next year, and we look forward to it very much because our meeting last year was really quite delightful. Warm but delightful, and it's a beautiful place. So we are having 2 sessions, and what we have done is take courses that we had envisioned for Bergamo and introduce some of them into the core program in the 2 sessions that I mentioned, and we'll also have online seminars in addition to what is brought into our sessions. So we will have something very close to what we'd originally planned, with small modifications, and I think that this will work actually very nicely. It will concentrate our offerings to a certain extent, and that may have some benefits. So I happen to love Northern Italy, but okay, we make the best. 2 sessions then. The first starts in Saas-Fee, Switzerland, in our principal site, our home site, so to speak. And that starts on July 29th. And the first seminar runs from July 29th to August 4th. Our seminars, once again, as they have functioned over past years, they happen in the afternoons. The first one starts at 1:30 after lunch, goes to 4 o'clock, and then the second one starts at 4:45 and goes to 7:15, and then we go to dinner. So 2 seminars in the afternoon. Many students take both seminars. Some are there for just one. But before I end, I will say a word about how we're trying to encourage people to attend both. So the first seminars meeting in Saas-Fee are July 29th to August 4th, and the first seminar in the afternoon that week will be Christoph Menke. We're very excited to have him with us for a seminar, and he will be joined in the seminar by Frank Ruda. So it should be very, very exciting. The second seminar will be with Slavoj Žižek. The next seminar group starts on, let's see, what is that? That is August 7th. And that is with the first seminar is Ellie Düring, our philosopher of science, and Emmanuel Alois. Again, an exciting pairing. And then the second seminar will be with a filmmaker, Lucien Castagne-Taylor. And I won't try to describe that as yet. I'm going to let Nemanja Mitrovic, who has been developing our film sequence this year, I'll let him describe what we are putting together. I just want to mention that we are trying to develop or return, actually, to our film offerings. We have had some very distinguished directors over the years, and we'd like to renew that practice, strengthen it and renew it in order to, as part of an initiative to strengthen our offerings in the arts. So the following meeting is August 15th, not following meeting, the following seminar series is August 15th to 20th. The first seminar in the afternoon is with Adrian Johnston, and the second is with Achille Mbembe. We're looking forward to having both of them very much and to see Achille again. For Adrian, this will be the first visit to the EGS. And then in the last week, two filmmakers to start, Pedro Costa and Albert Serra. Again, I leave the presentation to Nemanja. And then the second seminar in the afternoon will be with Catherine Malabou. So she'll be bringing to, I think, a wonderful finish, a great session. We then have our second session in Valletta, Malta, as we do each year in October. We start on the arrival day. The orientation session is October 1st. And the first seminar starts on the 2nd. We have Mladen Dolar starting off, and he will be followed in the second seminar by Alenka Supancic. So a big Slovenian appearance there in the first seminar slot. The second, October 10th to 15th, we have Srećko Horvat and Joshua Oppenheimer. Again, I leave to Nemanja, the task of presenting this. And in the second seminar in the afternoon, we have Frank Ruder. So the Valletta meeting looks really very promising, and as always, Valletta is very beautiful. It's a great time of year to be there. The summer is coming to its end. There's a slight fall tint in the air, but fall in Valletta in October is gentle and it's very warm and very nice. So both sessions, I should say, if you haven't been to Sasve before, it is gorgeous in August. And we're at 6,000 feet, so it's cool. It's sometimes the place to be in Europe. There are a few other mountainous spots to be in because of the temperatures, but Sasve is gorgeous. And then, of course, Valletta, which sits on the ocean and is also very beautiful. So those are the two principal sessions, and I'll leave to Nemanja now the brief task of presenting the film directors that we are introducing. And yes, Nemanja, you can begin.
Thank you, Chris. I would like to explain that this year we have a new opportunity for all students who are attending the EGS seminars in person, both matriculated students and auditors. As you can see, if you look at our schedule, we always have two seminars happening side by side. We noticed that often students are only attending one of these. Therefore, if you are in Sasve or in Malta and you are attending only one seminar that is happening, you have the opportunity to audit the other one for a seriously discounted price of $300. To give one example, if you're attending the seminar of Catherine Malabou, you can also attend the one with Albert Serra and Pedro Costa for the price of $300. This brings me to the re-establishment of the film program at the EGS as a crucial part of its curriculum. As some of you might remember, in the past, the EGS hosted numerous filmmakers. In the most recent past, Terence Malick, Wim Wenders, Carlos Reigadas, Margaret von Trotta, Rick Alverson, Sergei Loznitsa, Ratti Onelli, and Kaveh Zahidi. In a more distant past, Peter Greenaway, Claire Denis, John Waters, Chantal Ackerman, Catherine Breillat, Claude Lanzmann, among many others. After COVID, when the EGS transferred to a hybrid mode of teaching, film seminars presented a serious logistical difficulty. This year, we are finally confident that film seminars can be adequately delivered both to an online and to an in-person audience. In 2026, film will make a big comeback at the EGS. This return was designed with the help of two people from Croatia. First, Tanja Vrvilo, who is not only an excellent film curator, but a very accomplished artist. Throughout the years, Tanja has curated many film festival programs, and almost 20 years ago, she founded an annual international film festival symposium on the politics of film curatorship entitled Film Mutations, Festival of Invisible Cinema. With Tanja's generous help, we established contact and will bring Lucien Casteng-Taylor, Albert Serra, and Pedro Costa to SASFE this summer. Lucien Casteng-Taylor is not only an accomplished filmmaker, but also a director of the Sensory Ethnography Lab at Harvard. His films that he made together with Verena Paravel, Leviathan, Caniba, and De Humani Corporis Fabrica, among others, are at the intersection of anthropology, documentary, and visual art, and are characterized by the constant search for a new cinematic language that emphasizes the sensory. Albert Serra is, for many years now, one of the most exciting voices in world cinema. For his movie, Story of My Death, he won the Golden Leopard at Locarno. His movies, The Death of Louis XIV, Liberté, and Pacification, were all screened in Cannes. Pacification was nominated for the Palme d'Or. It received 9 nominations for César Awards, including Best Film and Best Director. It also appeared in the first place on Cahiers de Cinéma Top 10 list of 2022. His latest film, documentary Afternoons of Solitude, was screened at the main competition of the San Sebastian Film Festival, where it won the Golden Shell. Pedro Costa is a Portuguese director and internationally acclaimed award-winning artist behind the films Ossos, In Vanda's Room, and Colossal Youth. He collected the France Culture Award at the 2002 Cannes Film Festival for directing the film In Vanda's Room. Colossal Youth was selected for the 2006 Cannes Film Festival and earned the Independent/Experimental Prize. His Vitalina Varela was awarded the Gold Leopard for the best film in 2019 at the Locarno Film Festival. In Malta, with the help of Srećko Horvat, we'll be very happy to host Joshua Oppenheimer. Srećko Horvat is a Croatian philosopher, author, and political activist. Horvat was one of the founders of the Subversive Film Festival in 2008, an annual festival which included Oliver Stone, Alexis Tsipras, Slavoj Žižek, among others. Horvat also launched a project called Philosophical Theater at the Croatian National Theatre in Zagreb. His guests included Vanessa Redgrave, Hito Šterl, Mladen Dolar, Julia Kristeva, and many others. At the EGS, Horvat will give a seminar with Joshua Oppenheimer, who directed the Oscar-nominated films The Act of Killing and The Look of Silence. The Act of Killing won the 2013 European Film Award for Best Documentary, and The Look of Silence, in 2014, won the prestigious Grand Jury Prize at the 71st Venice International Film Festival. In 2024, Oppenheimer directed his narrative debut, The End, starring Tilda Swinton and George McKay. The EGS is very happy to open its doors to these new and exciting voices in 2026.
Okay, thank you very much, Nemanja, for that. I want to add with just a few remarks about what we're doing this year. And this doesn't cover everything because we will have evening lectures, we will have book discussions, we'll have our usual online events, which will also include workshops, one of which I'll be undertaking for a return of the one that I did last year on Freud. It worked really well, a writing workshop in which I used Freud's Wolfman as a principal text to work from. That was a real pleasure. So we'll try to do that again and have at least one more or two workshops later in the year. We have a Leading Thinkers course coming up in the spring. If you're not familiar with these, we've had seminars on major authors: Hegel, Nietzsche, Derrida, Lacan, Adorno, quite a series, always led by very distinguished people. And the aim of the Leading Thinkers program is to it's supplement what goes on in the seminars, because often our professors will make a reference of some kind to a particular philosopher. These days, Hegel is big, or Heidegger or others, and some of the students don't have a chance to really be in a position to grasp fully what has been offered with that reference. So we think it's useful to complement the seminars in which our professors pursue research topics, to complement these with courses that are not really introductory, but that address the text of these, what we call leading thinkers, in a fairly cohesive way. In other words, they cover the oeuvre. And the professors cover the oeuvre, and they give a reading of this. There are different approaches to Hegel, different approaches to Heidegger, and the professor who undertakes this will be normally associated with the EGS and doing this in an EGS style, preparing for an EGS type seminar. So this year we're taking a little bit of a departure. We've done that already, actually, recently. By having a leading thinker course on someone who was present with us, Alain Badiou. Frank Ruda has done a beautiful job in that. And then this spring, we will have again it's a special occasion, because we will have a leading thinkers course with Slavoj Žižek. Now, we're doing a couple things that are distinctive here. One is that it won't be directed by a single professor. We'll have a series of very accomplished readers of Slavoj Žižek who have been chosen by Frank Ruda, who works closely with him. And Frank will be organizing, producing, overseeing this course, but it will entail interventions by a series of very distinguished speakers, and among them there'll be Slavoj himself. So this is he'll make an appearance. So this should be very, I think, very special, very very valuable for our community overall, and we're looking forward to it very much. I'll add one last word. I just want to mention that you're looking at a podcast, which is a new development in our program. I thank Nemanja Mitrovic for that, the initiative he's taken, and the efforts to do this as professionally as it's done. We hope to really develop this this platform. And yes, I want to call your attention to this initiative. Watch this page, so to speak. With that, I think I have covered the overview that I have wanted to give for this this coming year. I want to pass after this to a slightly more formal presentation. So let me pause there. Thank you. Very good. So I'm going to shift in mode a little bit now, as I mentioned earlier. What I'd like to do is actually read from something I sketched down last night. It's kind of an elementary statement, but nonetheless, I think I caught some fundamentals, which I think it's good that I repeat for you here. So what I'm going to do then is read from this text and interpolate a little bit as I go, but I try to convey by this means what I understand us to be attempting at the EGS, and also why I think this is something that people should feel ready to join and can feel ready to join. So yes, my aim is to strengthen awareness of what we're attempting at the EGS. And I'll start by observing, this is actually a little bit of a problem. Often our students see the EGS as serving a disciplinary model, where the discipline might be generally described as critical theory or simply theory. They see this discipline as subdivided into various sectors in which they choose to specialize, areas such as psychoanalysis, political theory, or the philosophical foundations of continental philosophy, to name a few. These days, in terms of philosophy, Hegel draws the crowd, Hegel and the Hegelians. But there are others. Nevertheless, there is a kind of concentration there in the philosophy that's fundamental to our program. Then there are fields like gender studies or post-colonial studies, which we often approach via Black thought. All of these, of course, are vital, and we have great seminars in each area. But I think that students tend, perhaps for me anyway, to gravitate too much toward particular professors in these particular areas because they see this as their area of concentration. And they miss, in this respect, a little bit of what we are attempting to do. I'll come back to this because everybody does need to specialize at a certain point, but the question is what path one takes in coming to that determination and pursuing it. Okay, so I want to emphasize in contrast to what I've just described, that the idea of our curriculum is to challenge disciplinary boundaries, even where it's a matter of theory, and to expose students to a range of thinking approaches to different fields, including scientific ones. To some degree, I think it's appropriate to say that we are teaching cross-disciplinary thinking and the capacity for it. That's the real goal, to try to teach cross-disciplinary thinking. Now, teaching how to think is not an easy matter. In fact, it's not even clear it's possible. But in any case, it's not an easy matter if the task means more than applying a set of concepts or some theoretical approach to a field of phenomena, which is what is usually understood by theory. You take a theory and you apply it. We do some of that, but more fundamentally, our effort is to induce questioning, communicating ways to question and to create relations between insights and approaches to different fields and the world, or the real they seek to address, those different approaches. It is a matter of inducing a capacity for critical and inventive relation to the events of our time, be these intellectual, artistic, political, or ecological. I suppose I could add technological. People are sometimes surprised to discover the degree to which our faculty seem to have something to say about almost everything. How did they get that? Well, normally by intense study in philosophy or philosophically informed theory, and then broad engagement with contemporary discursive forms and media of all forms. They'll tend to have special expertise in a particular philosophical school or area of study, but they will also have read very broadly and have considerable dexterity in approaching different domains. They have this dexterity because they have familiarity with philosophical foundations and can easily grasp how particular fields construct their objects and methodologies. They are prepared to deconstruct critically almost any form of representation and locate where it actually speaks, where it engages what I described above as a real in the world. This isn't just a skill, it's a practice, a singular practice undertaken with a particular style or approach that distinguishes our professors as leading thinkers. They have what you can learn to perceive as gestures of thought. Each of them have their singular gestures, ways of posing questions and approaching topics, singular strategies, you might say. Again, this isn't just a theoretical approach that is particularly masterful. It is a set of distinctive ways of constructing a problematic and exploring it while making living connections. We have a number of professors doing this. In fact, virtually all do. That's why they have been asked to join us. But what I want to stress here is that word number, because what the EGS offers is the opportunity to experience a range of brilliant ways of thinking, a range of forms of inspired questioning and thought, multiple experiences of following thought as it unfolds in questioning, and what I might simply call thinking with, because at the EGS, there's a community that forms in this practice. Students are invited into that. At the EGS, in the PAC division, it is possible to audit multiple courses, as many as you wish, or to pursue a degree. I do want to make everyone aware of this option of auditing, and it might be the means by which you discover what I'm talking about here. Or it may fit in terms of your other activities or other work. Some people already have PhDs elsewhere, they have professions elsewhere and so forth, but they nonetheless come to our courses. But I want to focus, particularly in my remarks here, on the concept of the MA or the PhD degree, because that'll help me get to this principle of our program. So for each of those programs, you will take 12 courses, normally 6 courses in each of 2 years. That is to say, you'll be exposed to 12 paths of thought in a range of different disciplines. 12 times you will follow professors in fundamental questioning on a given problematic that they will have constructed in their singular manner. I can virtually guarantee that the experience will be enriching, even eye-opening. You will learn quite a lot. But it is not a matter simply of gaining knowledge in different fields of study and eventually reaching some synthesis of this knowledge at whatever level. This is not the goal of the cross-disciplinary inquiry we are pursuing. A breadth of cohesive knowledge is a terrific thing to acquire. But far more important, at least at the level at which someone is working in graduate study, far more important is the capacity to work incisively and imaginatively with that knowledge, to grasp what critical thought is, and to gain strength in handling it and doing it. In experiencing these 12 different paths of inquiry and practicing them, you will learn to recognize them as such, and you will gradually gain a certain freedom with respect to them, something that's not easy to attain in a context where a particular group of individuals working in a given school of thought is dominant. You'll then bring that freedom to your own final project. That's the idea. We are undertaking the almost impossible task of teaching a free relation to critical thought. And we're trying to show you what that can be. Now, these 12 seminars are not introductory in nature, in the standard sense of this term. We take students immediately into the practice of philosophically informed cross-disciplinary questioning. There's no preparing to get to the real thing. No, you immediately are in the real thing. And the discourse is thus at a high level. But this does not mean that it is of a special difficulty or that it requires significant advanced preparation, years of preparatory study. No, we have professors whose research is indeed at the highest level. You'll recognize the names of our staff. But these professors translate their thought for a diverse group of people from different disciplines and backgrounds, whose only real common ground is an interest in philosophy and theory and a willingness to engage the thought being presented to them. Our seminars have a very diverse composition. We have architects, analysts, writers, analysts, I mean psychoanalysts, therapists, writers, journalists, philosophers, and artists in our midst, and others. It's not just the material that is cross-disciplinary, in other words. The scene is cross-disciplinary. The professors know this and address their public accordingly. Their teaching style takes on in this way something of a public character. They are, in this respect, very open in their address to their auditors. And for the professors, I might add, this is a very interesting experience. This is why I myself got captured by the idea of the EGS some 25 years ago. Excuse me. I've noticed in recent years that we have a modest number of MA students as opposed to people studying for the PhD. And a number of people considering application to our MA programs have told me during this time that they weren't sure they were ready for such a program. I have to tell you that it's the most frustrating thing I can hear. Because most who say this to me are already quite ready and won't get more prepared or smart in the coming year or two by studying this or that set of theoretical or philosophical texts. There is ultimately no academic qualification for advanced study as we pursue it, no necessarily attained level of academic experience for learning to think. No introduction to this or that theory will be of significant help, and no special ability with this or that theoretical approach is required. There simply has to be a passion for intellectual discovery and enough of an independent spirit to prompt one to jump in. We all start from wherever we start, and all will be welcomed in that spirit. We have a very supportive community in that sense. There really is no established bar of achievement or knowledge that qualifies students for the EGS experience, and even a few undergraduates study in our midst. Yes, individual experiences will differ with respect to levels of past learning and experience. MA students gain what they will at their level, PhD students at another level, people already have PhDs also at another level, but all are experiencing a transformative experience. So yes, that's the fact that everybody will come in at their own level and work at their own level doesn't change the fact that following the paths of thinking that are pursued in EGS seminars will have a transformative effect on those who undertake them at whatever level they start. Everyone will take from this experience what they can in their own way, and if they make the effort, this transformation will take place. And this is what success ultimately means at the EGS as far as assessment goes. Everyone asks today what a degree is worth. The field of higher education is under terrible pressure as it seeks to account for itself and justify the time and cost involved. I can't hope to offer such a justification for the EGS in the little time we have. The task would involve restating what a humanistic approach to the questions of our time can be and what intellectual life is intrinsically worth. And I should add perhaps a few words, maybe lengthy words, about how inexpensive and convenient the EGS program is. But let me stay at a high level and simply say that I'm convinced that this time, our time, desperately needs supple and enlightened programs that have a foundation in the kinds of thought pursued in the humanities. I wrote a small book containing a defense of the humanities some years ago that focused on how the humanities work with language. What I described as being at stake there is literally facing destruction in the time of AI. In our modern world, the humanities have never been more essential, and we face more than the issues brought to us by advanced technology. Now, I believe the EGS can hold its own quite well on that account, because we have always been devoted to developing creative and critical response to the conditions of our world. We are in constant evolution, with a quite acute sense of the urgency of the tasks before us. And I might add that this evolution is very much ongoing. I'm pushing now to bring in more voices from outside the theoretical world, especially competent voices and reflective voices and from fields like economy, ecology, sustainability, health, world health, and so forth. So I'm hoping to expand how should I say, the community in which we're functioning and the modality of voices that come into our framework. But anyway, I want to underscore this idea that we are constantly trying to adapt to our world and what we perceive to be its exigencies for an educational institution or a research institution like the one we are attempting to pursue as we try to figure out what a university can be, what such an institution can be. So we have 28 years of experience doing this, and those who have joined us will second what I'm trying to say, I believe. I'm referring to students with that statement, but also professors. And let me just say, it's not by chance that some of the most celebrated intellectuals in the world in our fields have worked with us and return year after year. It's not for the money, it's for the cause. Let me end by just adding that Nemanja Mitrovic, our program director, And I would be very happy to answer any queries you might have about what I've said, about our programs, about what is coming this year. And also, we're prepared to offer advice. Our email addresses are on our website and in the caption of this post, where you will find everything you need to know about our programs and opportunities. So with that, I thank you. I look forward to seeing many of you this year, and I wish you a great 2026 as far as your intellectual life is concerned. We have to survive otherwise. Thank you.